Good evening, good evening. I think it's time for the Trump Assassination Files, live from Franklin County, Virginia. Let me come over here and hop over here and get Revolution Radio. We're hooked up there, I'm muted. Watch the stream so we can see where the breaks are. Oh gosh, I gotta check that other thing. Because yeah, wow, I guess I need to try to go to you ever gotta have to go places you haven't been to for a while? Locals.com. I missed a dot there, didn't I? Yeah, I don't know how I missed a dot. All right. So I am logged in. Anyway. Oh gosh. Hopefully my stream will get over there tonight. Still waiting on Revolution Radio to kick in gear here. Station bumper at 28 seconds or so left, or minute left, excuse me. I didn't see which one was which. So I hope y'all are having a great day. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Come on down and join us on Rumble. So you have to click, I guess, on the join the live stream. Okay. And we already had this morning. So, wow. I'm not sure. I just started trying to stream over to locals.com. So that's kind of an ongoing process right now. Let me check the studio here, see what we got here. Just a minute or so left. My neighbor's dog scratched the crap out of me. Plus, I was down in the weeds in the bushes. You know, I'm just clearing brush out. What you call them? What do you call those things? Briars. Yeah, they is sticking the crap out of me, and then the dog kind of caught me, and I said, "Dang, man, I could trim those dogs' nails." It's just an unruly husky. But anyway, we ready to go here. Revolution Radio is, wow, we got 10 seconds. All right, stand by. Hold on. We're getting ready to go here. Yeehaw! Good evening. It's time for the Trump Assassination Files. Live from Franklin County, Virginia. I'm your host, Mitchell Buck. Come on down and join us at revolution.radio, where you can start your own streaming show. Just audio. Don't forget, we're streaming on Rumble. We're also trying to simulcast over on YouTube and locals.com. For some reason, I had a big couple strikes on Facebook, and for some reason, they won't let me live stream. I don't know why over on Facebook. I mean, imagine that. It must be the algorithm that just drives everybody mad. Mad. Well, welcome to the mad world of Donald Trump's second presidency. Okay? There is a lot of stuff that is supposed to be going on, that they said is going to go down. I'll be honest with you. At this point, I don't believe a damn thing any of them say, okay? We essentially have the deep state, Jeffrey Epstein, the Mossad, the CIA, the FBI, all of the culprits that essentially went to war against Donald Trump are all wrapped up in the Epstein files, along with Donald Trump. Then that, was it, the young and the groupie? The young and the rich and the cannibalistic pedophiles, whatever. I mean, Pam Bondi is intentionally ignoring the Jeffrey Epstein files, okay? And meanwhile, the United States Congress and this so-called Congress of Republicans and Democrat monopoly, what do? They vote to hide their own sexual exploits. That cost about $17 million a year, I believe, or somewhere in that range. But we don't know because we can't find out which of the senators were, let's just say, involved in gay love affairs with interns, okay? I guess who was the next Bill Clinton, I guess is what we're trying to find out. Now, rumor has it that Republicans voted against the Exposed Sexual Exploits of Congress Act, as I would call it. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Why? Because the Republican Cornyn from Texas, he was supposedly, allegedly, paid off a man or boy who he had, well, I don't know, what's the word? I don't know if he fondled him. I don't know if he grabbed his ass. I don't know if he says, come on into the closet, son. And these are all a bunch of sick fucking bastards, okay? I'm starting to think that that's one of the qualifications to go to Congress, to be elected to Congress by Democrat or Republican Party, is you have to be a sick, demonic, cannibalistic motherfucker. Now, people think that's strong language, and I'll be honest with you, we haven't broke out the ropes. We haven't chased after these people the way they would back in the day. So yeah, the government is a total shit show, and it's a political war with Donald Trump and against Donald Trump all at the same time. It literally is an orgy of neocons and neoliberals all trying to snuggle up and get Donald Trump's ego on their side. The same way that Bibi Netanyahu appealed to Donald Trump's ego to get him to, well, let's just say, go in with this worldwide, peace deal thing, whatever you want to call it, okay? I haven't seen peace anywhere, in all honesty. I haven't heard anything from Donald Trump or his administration about the quote-unquote all-out full-blast war between a nuclear power Pakistan and the Taliban in Afghanistan. Yeah, I haven't heard anybody talk about that. We've been too busy bombing Iran into submission. After 10 days, it has been so far a complete successful failure. We did succeed in killing one, but the current leadership and then the next current leadership in Iran, only to roll the dice to get a hardcore cleric and the Iranian Republican Guard generals who will say, look, the United States wants to partition Iran. No, you misunderstand it. It's not the United States. It is Israel. This is all Israel's war, okay? Now, in all honesty, remember all of this goes back to what? The New World Order, the deep state. And the deep state is, well, the Mossad. It is the CIA. It is, the NSA. It is effing Bastards Incorporated. We know that, okay? We know that. We know that they will not stop. If if you believe in your naivete, if you believe that the deep state and the dirty deeds that they've done, if you believe that they're getting busted up and they're all running scared and they're running for cover, and you're mistaken. You're highly mistaken. We haven't lit a match under anybody's ass in the deep state. In fact, the more and the more evidence that comes in, and the longer it goes, it shows that the complete fix is in the second Trump administration, the same way the fix was in with the first Trump administration, with the let's just say the inept, the gutless Jeffrey Sessions, deep state clown from Alabama, I believe. And who else? Oh, yeah. The big bar. Okay? Remember, Bob Barr's father gave Jeffrey Epstein a job. Understand Bob Barr? Bob Barr is a criminal traitor against the United States of America from everything that I see. Okay? No different than James Comey and James Clapper and the rest of them. All right? I don't know if our government will, how should we say it? I don't know if our government will actually go and do what is actually needed. Okay? It is wholly unfortunate. But in the District of Criminals, it's essentially a cover-up racket that we see today in government. Okay? Here's a report from John Solomon. I believe he's with Just the News. And that's his website. And John says, John had this to say. Come on, play, guy.
Racket. We've all known for a long time that James Comey exonerated Hillary Clinton without authority to do so and without finishing his investigation when it came to the classified emails. Tonight, we're going to tell you about the other Clinton investigation, one that was running in 3 separate FBI offices, New York, Washington, and Little Rock. It was a predicated criminal investigation that was examining whether Hillary Clinton ran a pay-to-play scheme that delivered favors from her perch as Secretary of State, while foreigners and others paid large sums of money to her family foundation, the Clinton Foundation, run by Bill Clinton and their daughter, eventually Chelsea Clinton. 3 separate agencies, 3 separate bureaus, offices of the FBI believe they had predicated evidence to pursue that. Every time they tried to move the ball down the road in the shadows of the 2016 election, they got shut down. I mean, they got shut down.
Well, of course they did. Let's not forget that, you know how they talk about the feeding the children scandal in Minneapolis with the Somalis, you know, with the Somalis that literally raped the government. Well, let me tell you what, they don't have anything over Bill and Hillary and Chelsea Clinton as the Clinton charity that to have meals for people in Africa. Yeah. The average, when you look at how many meals were given out and how much money they received, the Clinton Foundation meals cost approximately $14,000 each in Africa. I mean, what were they doing? Flying pizza and hot dogs to Africa? I don't know. But anyway, it is sheer crazy. It is a lot of, wow. There's just a lot of stuff coming down. Fannie Willis gets spanked again by the judge, as the judge said that Fannie Willis must pay for the um, attorneys for the people that she took charges against. In Fulton County, Georgia, not only is the FBI has found a serious discrepancies within the ballots and the ballot counting, where it's I believe it's 53 boxes of ballots. No, it's more than that, are missing, completely gone. All of the images, or most of the images from the day of the election, are gone, destroyed. The only from what I understand, they had maybe a few from the election day, but almost all of the pictures of ballots that were supposed to be taken of each ballot as it was processed, mail-in ballot. Just think, none of those images were saved. Evidently, they were all kind of erased. Now, so yeah, there's that. Okay, but the Trump and his co-defendants are going to be allowed to pursue for legal fees against Fannie Willis and I imagine Fulton County for $17 million in attorney fees and costs to proceed after the high-profile prosecution collapsed last year. Trump and 18 others were indicted in Fulton County for allegedly conspiring to overturn then President Joe Biden's narrow election victory in Georgia. Today we know that the ballot count in Georgia was basically invalid. There were so many mistakes in the legal process of balloting of voting, and then the chain of custody, that it really was not a credible election in Georgia. Now the FBI has moved on to Maricopa County, Arizona, where in 2016 a very in-depth audit found a whole bunch of discrepancies that could never be explained. The same way that in Georgia, there were discrepancies and things that could never be explained. You have mail-in ballots that were supposedly cast, that were never folded, which means they were never put in the mail and sent to said person. And that is absolutely impossible, because, I say that because the company contracted to print the ballots for the Georgia elections is a company called Runbeck. Now, Runbeck has its main headquarters is in Phoenix, Arizona. That's why the ballot the runoff election ballots. That's why they went through the airport via the UPS, or via the Postal Service contract with United Parcel Service to fly bulk, 4 tons of ballots back to Georgia for the runoff election. So yeah, that is clear. Now, whether those ballots were or were not authorized, or I don't know if there's a real chain of custody with that stuff. But here, these are just some of the basic problems that we have in government. Okay, we have in was it Michigan or Wisconsin, where dead people that were removed from the voter roll by relatives were put back on the voter rolls a couple years later. Now the question is, did said person vote? Now there has been a Canadian man who has been busted, I believe, in Pennsylvania, where they were caught voting in, I don't know how many, last decades, I guess, in presidential elections. So, I mean, listen, if you don't have an ID, You don't know if the person is a citizen or not. Now, here's the thing. Democrats have already erased that barrier in a practical sense. In a practical sense where they have I believe, it's my belief that the lawsuits are conflated. Okay, that the census to choose the U.S. House of Representatives, while it has to count American citizens, when technically what they've done is they removed that question, if are you an American citizen, and just put a question of where you were born. Because one that has no question about citizenship for people who are what we refer to as anchor babies. Now you think people don't have a clue? They don't have a. They're just stupid. There's 1 million Chinese fly into the United States a year to have babies. So they have dual citizenship, allegedly. Now, I don't believe they should because they're not domiciled. They're just, they've either snuck across the border, they're not here legally, they're not here working, they're here on vacation or whatever. Or they're here on birthcation, okay? Get that kid a U.S. citizenship and he's gone. I mean, I think it was even El Chapo did that for his baby kid, right? It's not something that's, that unless the Supreme Court rules against it. So anyway, yeah. What else we got going on here? I was looking for this. I was looking for a another clip I had up here, and wow, I didn't see it. Here's another. Here's some testimony and some descriptions of what was actually going on in Georgia. Okay, during the election, the people that were on the ground, that were supposed to be, watching the ballots and auditing it and making sure it's a fair election, that they saw things that were, well, unbelievable. Okay, and these ballots were probably, well, all counted, in all honesty.
And in the bottom right-hand corner was a yellow banner. And I got into a position where I could see the yellow banner, which said low confidence. Then I started paying much closer attention to the signatures, thinking this didn't even make sense to me because the signature on the ballot that was being compared to other signatures didn't even resemble in any way what they were comparing it to. They were completely illegible. They were just scribbles on the ballot. And there were 5 screeners screening low confidence ballots for an entire afternoon that I was in there. And I asked Celia what the low confidence said, and she said just not to worry about that, that this was a new program that they were testing.
The Wednesday before the Friday that we quit voting, so 10 days before they quit tabulating, they thought they were done. And then more truckloads of ballots would come in, and I'm like, how can you not know how many ballots are still out there?
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Would you repeat that?
Yeah.
They thought they were done.
They thought they were done
and then
multiple times.
There was what?
Multiple times. The people that were running the rooms thought they were done or almost done or were going to be done Wednesday morning, then Thursday morning, then Friday morning. Then it went on the whole next week. And I'm like, I asked the question, I'm like, you don't know how many ballots are still left to come in?
The key fraud is the mail-in ballot. That was the backup in case they fell too far behind. That's why they cut off the vote at midnight, 1 o'clock, when President Trump was getting too far ahead. So they cut off the vote He was getting up to 800,000 in Pennsylvania, 300,000 in Michigan. He was even further ahead in Wisconsin. They cut off the vote. They turned things off. They chased everybody out. And then it's not your concern, except for the fact that you got to look at this somewhat in total. They started bringing in false ballots.
Yeah.
We have 3 witnesses to
Listen,
100,000 of those ballots being.
It is, there are so many moving parts and there's so many boxes, and literally half the time they're playing musical boxes and musical ballots. It's all mixed together. And once it's all mixed together, especially once it's open, can you think about actually, getting the truth there? Okay. So yeah, I mean, it is wow, it is a crazy thing. Now, everybody, that's why I refer to this as as Obamagate. I don't refer to all this stuff as Russiagate or Trump gate. Or, that's why I call it the Trump assassination files. Now, even though Trump is having his bromance with the same people who have front loaded Trump up, so his ass is gonna be overloaded during the midterms, okay? So anyway, it's a lot of shit going on. And people have to understand that, James Comey, Clapper, and the rest of the government. Listen, I kind of would believe that Clapper and Comey and John O'Brien, I could see where those 3 would literally rig all the information against that Obama gets. Once they do that, they can manipulate Obama up, down, left, right, sideways, any way they want. They got Obama on the string. I mean, do people realize that, right? I hope people realize that. Because, what we have going down is this.
Real access. My main account was permanently banned, so you can like, share, and follow me here. The Department of Justice has just confirmed that they have received criminal referrals from the Director of National Intelligence for the following persons: former President Barack Obama, James Clapper, John Brennan, Susan Rice, Loretta Lynch, Andy McCabe, and John Kerry. Now, this is in regard to manufacturing and for politicizing intelligence in order to subvert the election results in 2016 with President Trump. So this is currently breaking. They have in their possession the criminal referral with over 100 pages of documents, emails, and memos. As this continues to break, I will bring it to you the minute I get it.
Wow. Okay.
We have some wild breaking news.
That's some crazy shit, ain't it? I don't know if any of that is true. Half the time I think most of this stuff that the media feeds us, is part of this controlled opposition shit, all right? And they get everybody up and they build up hopium and then they cut the fucking knees out from under you. And there you're hanging. They leave you hanging. And what I can tell you, what I can see is they run these similar operations against MAGA, I believe with this Q operation, and with other ways that psychologically pull people together in groups. And then they have influencers that fucking drive these people around certain places. And then they just slam them into the wall. And if you're liberal, you jump up and down and scream and holler and go burn up the mall. If you're MAGA, you go to the Capitol and you peacefully protest. And then when the Capitol is open, you walk through it, and then you're declared an insurrectionist. The Blue Doom governor here in Virginia, a CIA agent named Spamberger. Yeah, America, Virginia got spammed. And I'll tell you what, 50 new tax proposals. They even want to tax dog walkers. They want to tax your sleep, mattresses. Literally, and gave themselves a 175% pay increase or some shit like that. Anyway, Democrats right now are attempting to gerrymander Virginia. We have Democrats blatantly violating the Virginia Constitution, and the Virginia Supreme Court is a bunch of jackasses because what they have done is they have set up a constitutional crisis. And I believe this is all done on purpose so they can then use the courts to put in their gerrymandering. In the Virginia State Constitution, it says there must be 90 days, at least 90 days, between the time that the bill is passed and signed in the Virginia law and there is a statewide referendum on said issue. However, early voting started before the 90-day period. There are people in Virginia voting right now, voting hell no, fuck no, just not no, but, no forever. Because a yes is for big-time gerrymandering by Democrats. So the question is, why? Why has the retards at the Virginia State Supreme Court, why have they set a date after this election to talk about the election? This special election that is wholly unconstitutional in Virginia. Period. End of story. It should be an invalid vote. Now, Democrats are doing this so they can gerrymander the state before the next election in November. Okay? That's what Democrats have in mind right now. That's their main priority. To make Virginia, deep blue, monopoly, Democrat Virginia. And they're doing it all through gerrymandering, using illegal immigrants to rack and pack and stack all around the state, particularly in Northern Virginia, where, between Northern Virginia and Richmond, they've been trying to load up every illegal immigrant they can find. Because, they need that extra House seat. They need to redistrict. They need to do all this stuff. And Democrats can only win if they cheat by gerrymandering. If they're just a bunch of old-fashioned Jim Crow discriminatory motherfuckers, that have gone past. Democrats have evolved, discriminating against people because of their skin color. It's even their religion, even their sexuality that Democrats oppose today, that Democrats discriminate against all Americans today. It is It is un-American to be Democrat, in all honesty. Okay? Let's see. Virginia Democrats have also moved to command and demand the schools to teach the January 6th American Reichstag, a false flag against America, as an insurrection. Even though there have never been any charges or anything of relating a real insurrection. It's, I guess you could call it an insurrection, what Democrats did to Donald Trump when he was elected in 2016. That certainly is sedition. It certainly is an insurrection. And, the violation of the civil rights of all the American people because of the government literally rigging the news, all of the information coming out of the government, rigged it all against Donald Trump. So yeah, it's crazy. What else we got going on here? Dun, 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 dun. Donald Trump says he is not concerned about the spike in gas prices because he says, this is a quickie war and it's going to be, done real quick. That it will be done and it will be real easy. It'll be quick and done and everything else. Meanwhile, you have literally have I was trying to find this clip. I can't find it, man. You literally have, the same echo chamber driving the mind control, as in repetitive, all this repetitive trash, okay, that you see coming on here today, okay? And remember, these Democrats are brainwashing people for the long game. That's why they brainwashed. That's why and how they essentially, brainwashed the youth of America. That's why they brainwashed them young. And listen, if CNN, if ABC, NBC, CBS, fake Fox News, if they quit broadcasting even for 10 minutes, the people will realize the merry-go-round that the media put you, Mr. John and Joe Q and Jim Q public. Yeah, it's all propaganda. Remember, psychological operations. It's a Sun Tzu, art of war shit. I mean, and we have to understand, we don't have news media today. We have propaganda marketing agents that come on that people believe are independent news authority about topics of whatever interest, okay? And they're not. They're not. Okay, the newscasters are literally reading propaganda pieces that are sent down. I know. I had worked briefly. How should I say? I don't know if I say I worked briefly, but I was in a newspaper office for, a year and a half, okay? Or for a while. I don't know if it was a year and a half, was it? Might have been a year and a half. But anyway, yeah. But here's, understand the propaganda that you have been dealt with too. Oh my God, look at that.
Gain. We're going to have some short-term pain with short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for
for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes. We've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain
Big
for
fat
American
lie.
consumers. We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short term.
Short-term.
Short-term, 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 and long-term.
Short-term.
Have you got your propaganda stuff?
Long-term benefits.
Some short-term
I can't even fucking stand
Short-term
it.
sacrifice for a long-term gain.
It's all
This is
bullshit.
a short-term disruption for the long.
It's all bullshit. It's a fucking Truman Show. They're all repeating the same thing to you, so that's what you'll have locked in your brain. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Oh my. And it almost sounds like it's you got some hemorrhoid problems and, you know, you want some short-term. You have short-term pain, but, you know, you got the game as long-term, you know. I mean, really. Really. You know, remember, whenever government is faced with very crises that can take them down, and as you know, as has been said multiple times by multiple people during both of Trump's administrations, there have been these people that have said, well, if we take down all the crooks, if we get rid of all of the evil people, then we get all the bad people out of government, the government might collapse. Well, by golly, you know, the government won't collapse because American people that are honest, that say, look, that job ain't so bad, I'll take that high price money. It's madness, 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 I tell you. What we have going on today, okay? Classic brainwashing syndrome. Yeah. So the DOJ released an interview with a woman saying Trump assaulted her when she was 16 or 15 or 16 back in the day, years ago. And, you know, while they say that, you know, the same woman who made the same claims in the 2016 election, when people wanted details and then she says, I lied. She finally realized that she just couldn't make a general statement that people want to know who, what, where, when, how, why. Where's Trump? What did he hang? Was he shriveled and hang to the right? Or, you know, has he got like some kind of lemon ball like Jeffrey Epstein? Or, you know, is he a Harvey Weinstein with his testicle, you know, attached to his ankle? Or, I mean, his leg, excuse me. Hopefully Harvey Weinstein's testicle is not attached to his ankle. It's just his inner thigh, by the way. Anyway, so, yeah. Of course, some of the big news is an attempted bombing by Muslims in New York City. As expected, Muslim Mayor Mandani didn't talk about anything about the in fact, they tried to blame it on the anti-Islam protesters that were there. Okay, you know, it's pretty bad because nowadays they're claiming people that are protesting Islam are anti-Semites. I mean, God, man, you know, I mean, in New York, you know, you can be a chick with a dick, and evidently they're still confused about a lot of stuff. So anyway, 6 were arrested after homemade nail bombs were launched over the back of a man who was talking about how people from outside of New York come into New York and have how should we say it? And change the laws and tell us how we live and everything else, okay? So yeah, Anyway, they say they're claiming to stop the Islamic takeover of New York and stop a New York City public Muslim prayer. The truth is, there are already laws in place to prevent shit like that. It's like everything else in America. It's enforcement. Will the police enforce it? Fuck no. Okay? I mean, let's be honest. We could watch the mob right there in New York. You could watch the mob of masked Antifa, Marxist clowns. These chicken shit people that they dress in all black because they go there to commit crimes. From head to toe, they are dressed in all black, insulting the black people of New York, essentially making black people look bad because they're wearing all black clothing. Really. I mean, it's part of a psychological play. Seriously. These guys chasing people down the streets and beating on them and stuff, and when the person defends themselves, the police arrest the person defending themselves. But it's going to be like Bernard Getz. It's going to be like out in Minnesota, I believe it was, where the Antifa decided to sweep the sidewalk. Yeah. So they got all in a line, a dozen Antifa clowns, to push 3 people off a sidewalk because they said, you don't belong here. This is our encampment and you don't have permission, blah, 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 blah. So they assaulted the 3 individuals, and one of the 3 said, F you, pulled out his gun and put holes in 3 of the clowns. 3 of the violent protesters that were sweeping the sidewalk with human bodies. Yeah, I mean, don't be fooled by these when people get arrested because it's like ice hockey. Most people don't see the first hit; they see the second hit. Okay, the referees. Okay, so anyway. These 2 guys were arrested and said they were inspired by ISIS. Now, in all honesty, they didn't look like they were top of the line, had it all together peoples. Okay, frankly, they looked like young idiot kids. Okay, so they had a bomb that had a chemical explosive in it, along with nails and shards of glass and other stuff in a jar. And there was another bomb there, a small, I guess a grenade side bomb. And so anyway, so yeah, that went down pretty quickly, as this guy literally came running in and threw it over the top of the preacher guy there. It was a really good. It was such epic timing, where the guy just said, we're tired of people from outside coming living here telling us what to do. And as soon as he said that, the guy came over his shoulder with the bomb. I mean, the real bomb. It's sheer crazy. Okay. Anyway, Donald Trump says Cuba is negotiating a deal with the United States. Well, what I will tell Cuba is watch yourself, because the American government cannot be trusted, number 1. Number 2, they will attack you in the middle of negotiations. It used to be once upon a time in America. Yeah, I mean that's I mean we could do a whole 2-hour show of once upon a time in America. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we used to have this thing called freedom. Yeah, I'm going to save that for a little break. I got a story here I want to have towards the end because, universal basic income is coming. Okay, central bank digital currency is coming. And in fact, Donald Trump not just signed all the laws into action, but Donald Trump has essentially started moving things over to that. In fact, this stable coin, it's called, which is, I guess it's kind of supposed to be the U.S. dollar equivalent of a cyber coin, cyber currency. Yeah, but there is a problem with stablecoin. Right now, 52% of the money and the assets that have been moved onto the stablecoin digital platform are a net negative. They're losers. They're bad bets. It's all the bad debt that the bankers are trying to get rid of. So they're loading it up all on stablecoin, and then somewhere along the line, it just amounts to another place to dump bad debt. So they move it from one system to another system, pretending that it disappears, that it keeps listen, the U.S. economy is screwed. I mean, does anybody think we have a good economy in the United States of America? I don't think it's that strong. I don't think Trump has done jack shit to help American workers, to bring industry home. Now he had a tariff, and they declared it illegal, and he put on another tariff of 15% across the world, and now 21 Democrat states have sued Donald Trump on his latest tariff policy. Okay, so that's all coming down the road. Civil rights leader Jesse Jackson passed away. Yeah, and turns out that politicians going to a funeral, most of them don't have the common courtesy to keep politics out of the funeral. So, yeah, with 3 former presidents, or was it 4 former presidents, at the funeral of Reverend Jesse Jackson, Biden told attendees, including prominent civil rights figures and other notable guests, that I'm a hell of a lot smarter than the most of you. Meanwhile, Barack Obama chastised Trump. Let's see. Kamala Harris got up there and talked shit about Trump. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson got up there and talked shit about Trump. Jesse Jackson Jr. said, none of these people really ever even knew my father. And here they come. They turn it into a political campaign stump at my father's funeral. I'm fed up. I'm sick of it. I'm going to leave the Democrat Party. So, yeah, it is sheer crazy. Anyway, remember, most people go to these type of high profile events because of status, and if they don't go, they're going to lose status. From everything that we can see, we know, and we understand. So meanwhile, Donald Trump is struggling on his war plan. Simply because he can't understand why Iran has not surrendered yet. After killing Khomeini, the original leader, and then killing the other leader 2 hours after he was elected. And now Iran, on their third leader, actually brought a cardboard effigy with a picture on the top of it to announce the new leader of Iran. In other words, he wasn't coming out showing his head in the middle of a war zone, doing this takeover thing for the government. Okay, they just weren't. All right. Meanwhile, Iran has pretty much told the Trump administration to go pound sand, and that we will go blow for blow with the United States of America. Now, what the Iranians have started to do, they have invoked their most potent weapon to date. The most potent weapon they have is to shut down the Hormuz Straits. Now, Iran has reportedly started mining the Straits of Hormuz with mines. Of course, don't forget, there's plenty of, they're building drone mines and drone boats that can literally just, they can go out and they can set until, they have a sonar sounding of a motor. Of a propeller in the water, and then he could just home in on that. I mean, I don't think that would be too difficult, technology-wise. But anyway, so Donald Trump has threatened unprecedented military consequences. I have said earlier that we're into break. Are we in break yet over on Rev Radio? Let me see. Nope, not quite yet. But I said this morning, and I've got this crazy feeling thing, that they're developing miniaturized nuclear weapons. Okay? Now, a nuclear weapon doesn't have to be the size of Hiroshima or Nagasaki. In fact, the Israelis have led the technology of miniaturizing nuclear weapons. And, it's my belief that that's what the United States has used yesterday, and is preparing to use again on where they believe are the Iranian stockpiles. Hey, Revolution Radio, we'll be right back in a minute. Okay, we shut off Rev Radio. But anyway, I had that idea. I don't know why. Maybe because, the implosions and everything that happened on 9/11, literally the explosions and the pancaking. There's something just isn't right there. Anyway, now a lot of that, all that weight, all that metal, all that steel, all that stuff on 9/11 creates a lot of kinetic energy. But still, molten pools of molten, steel and everything else. I'm sorry. It just seems like was somewhat of a miniature nuke or something. But I believe that Donald Trump and Israel are getting ready to use some of that. It's my suspicion that there were recent explosions underground at a U.S. weapons testing site, for nuclear weapons testing site, that they were testing miniaturized nuclear weapons. Now, these nuclear weapons, some of them are probably can only take out a block or two, but they can also be shape charged, so they can literally go down and take out a fortress underground. Even though we have those things, I just think that the U.S. is so desperate that they're going to go for it. Don't forget that Ukraine is still at war with Russia, or maybe it's better put that the United States and NATO using using Ukraine as a mailed fist, as a nailed, fist, a glove, iron fist, to bash on Russia. That's the United States doing Ukraine. It's not Ukraine. It's the United States. It's NATO. And if you don't realize that there is a strong possibility, what I would say, a strong possibility that these wars could actually cross over and connect in a certain way. Okay. So we really don't know the full fallout from what's going on with Donald Trump in Iran. It's not going to be simple. It's not going to be quick and clean. Donald Trump's generals and the CIA literally lied on how it would go. Okay. Now there have been, and here's the thing, and this is another reason why J.D. Vance was shut down, was quiet, and was out of the system. Right now, Marco Rubio, running the CIA. Listen, the CIA. The State Department is the CIA. If you're running the U.S. State Department, you're in bed with the CIA, or I should say, maybe it's better to say the CIA is embedded in the State Department. That's just truth that people don't want to talk about. So with the CIA embedded into the State Department, that there is no State Department. It's all CIA. That the U.S. government has become so militarized that the CIA is the State Department. Now, they aren't going to publicly tell you that because they don't want you to know that. Always remember that the government is going to lie to you until the dumbest person on the block, until the village idiot even knows and understands the PSYOP is dead, Bob. Really. These fucking clowns in Washington, D.C., the only thing they have is the brainwashing. They don't have anything else left. And the way we know that is because, listen, they're literally standing there outright lying here in Virginia about the redistricting amendment that they want to put in the Constitution, okay? They literally are using reverse psychology, literally thinking that the voters of Virginia are children. It's absolutely ridiculous. Hey, welcome back, Rev Radio. God bless you guys, man. Hey, don't forget, everybody, revolution.radio. You can go on over there, check out the sister station at freedomslips.org, I think it is, or is it .net? We're still working on one of those. I'm not sure which. But anyway, the State of the Union is broken. Okay? The Democrat Party would not stand up for Americans. And the biggest part of Donald Trump standing up is standing up for Israel and running this deep state operation for around the world. Now, here's the thing. It is literally enriching the Trump family. This is just part of the situation normal that is all fucked up at the upper echelons of the United States government. As the Kraken America boys, the banksters, the bimbos, and the rest of the sons of bitches literally get up next to, get in bed, and they made people rich because they give them money to grease the wheels of whatever the deep state wants to do. I still have not heard one person. Well, I've not heard one person talk about how Joe Biden, as Vice President of the United States of America, acted as a CIA agent in an operational manner. His son worked for the CIA in an operational agent style manner. When Hunter Biden's laptop said, "Oh my God, look, I'm dealing with the fucking Chinese spy chief." He was on the CIA payroll, numbnutses. I don't know how people can even stand their federal government today. They're so corrupted. A bunch of sons of bitches is what they have turned out to be. Now that Ice Barbie is gone, Christy Noam shit canned because, well, she's catching a lot of shit because of Ice. And she's got a target on her back. And every person that goes into that position, I believe that they should think of that as a 6-month or less post. I can't believe she got a year out of it, but the work that's going to need to be done is the people in government are not going to like you. They're going to get rid of you. They're going to kill your career. They're going to kill your future. And that's where you have to look at them and say, fuck you. I'm for America. I'm not for a bunch of sold out Democrats that want to rack and pack and stack illegal immigrants and then complain when the United States of America, when the government comes to round them up. How dare Democrats even say, well, they're voters. They're not voters. They're hot bodies used to rig the census in America. If you want to know why the illegal immigration invasion was happening, it is literally so they can change the demographics of America by using illegal immigration. And then having them come to certain states where the government violates the civil liberties and the civil rights of every born American and every naturalized American by allowing illegal immigrants to remain in the country, particularly when they get a final deportation order. It is madness, 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 I tell you. Now, what we see going on in America today, Democrats are freaking out. They really are. Because the truth is being exposed. And that's the worst possible thing that could happen for the Democrat Party. And that is if they're cheating, they're literally a rigging of elections has been exposed. Okay? So, yeah. Let's go up here to the top and let's see. I talked about Obama referred to indictment. That was a John Sullivan story. So let's see. Epstein's the Trump administration desperately trying to distance themselves and hide the Epstein files because of the Israeli connections and the Israeli blackmail of American business leaders and French business leaders and British royalty and everybody else in the world. The fact that Jeffrey Epstein said, I work for Evelyn Rothschild, that means to me that Evelyn Rothschild should be indicted as the person that was ultimately responsible for Jeffrey Epstein. Listen, I'd love to see the Red Shield taken down completely. I'd like to see the Warburgs and the Rockefellers and 12 or 13 or whatever groups of families that supposedly believe that they run this planet and run me and you and everybody else, okay? Always remember when you're looking at high school and elementary education today, what you are seeing is the building of a new segregated class caste style system where people will be cast into a division and it will be hell to try to get out of it. This is what Democrats are building. This is why they have segregated and separated all the high school students. That's why they've taken the smart kids away from the dumb kids and the intermediate smart kids and the smart kids. Okay, everybody gets to go on a different track and all this stuff instead of everybody learning from each other. They segregate and separate. And they literally, it's like a PhD caste style social system. You don't have to believe me. I suggest you kind of go look at it and understand what the failure of Donald Trump's administration to literally stop this stuff, okay? To stop the development of segregated class systems that are being developed by Democrats. Red and blue, mega, and liberal, conservative and liberal, all these different ideas, all these different tags. It's all about segregation and discrimination. But that's how, evidently, that's how Democrats are working, okay? An appeals court ruled that Trump can suspend refugee admissions, where Trump has suspended refugee admissions. Also, just the other day, Donald Trump was barred from removing Haitians and removing the temporary status of Haitians in America that sought asylum after the earthquake. Nobody wants to really talk about that because then they would have to talk about the $2 bazillion that Hillary Clinton, well, let's just say 80% of 80% of, what was it, $2.1 billion or somewhere in there? In the $2 billion range. 80% of that money that went through the Clinton Foundation, 80 cents on that dollar never left the District of Criminals or Northern Virginia. They all should be doing jail time for fraud. But what happened? Oh, we had to give refugee status to all of these people that Hillary Clinton, the Democrat Party, and then Republicans for how many a decade plus have just told them to, hey, just get some Jimmy barbecue. We can take out Maduro, pinpoint operation, high-tech stuff. I mean, but hey, when you try to run another Bay of Pigs and you get caught by Cuba, it's kind of inconvenient. Yeah. Anyway, the world of idiocracy is right here. As the SAVE Act vote looms, the FBI expands their 2020 election probe. Are we going to have a SAVE Act vote? because last I knew, the old turd Republicans, they were blocking it. They were blocking it because they don't want. Listen, here's what's going to happen. When they go through and they see all these records and Democrats get busted in mass across every Democrat state, Democrats will turn around and come back against Republicans who are essentially just the same style of scumbags, except, they're on the other side of the coin. And that's the sad truth about our current government. Our current government is run by professional parasite motherfuckers, okay? That's why I said, that's why I'd like to Vivek Ramaswamy. 80% of government out the fucking door. And, if you didn't get to see, you can go and look circling around the internets, when Doji had to go into the peace department or the peace mission or whatever the hell they called it, and they all said, no, you can't do this, you can't be here, it's illegal, blah, 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 we're not this. And, literally they tried to block government officials from doing their jobs because a lot of the stuff that the Department of Peace was doing was nothing about peace. It was what? It was another agency, another 3-letter agency outlet for what? Election disruption. What do they call those things? Color revolutions and the rest. The American people, God bless them. And they trust what these retards in really nice suits tell them on the boob tube, on ABC, NBC, CBS, and fake Fox News. And they put a spin on it like a scammer in the street. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah. It's crazy. Anyway, the federal government's post-2020 election reckoning. Listen, this is not going away. And Democrats believe because of how they have been able to bury the seditious actions by Traitor 44 Barack Obama and his administration waging war against Donald Trump. Not after the election, as Tulsi Gabbard likes to try to say. It was during the election, during the actual parts of the election, which I guess are 30 days, it could be from the tide comes in some places, or till the cows come home to roost. But let's be honest, the 2020 election, the CIA, along with the Democrat Party, literally rigged the election. I put it in the hands of the CIA because, I know Democrats are smart. And I know Democrats have been working to pad voter rolls. But this, with the COVID scamdemic and all of the ballot drop boxes, that was the only way that this mass mail-in balloting that they could afford. That's the only way that they could rig the election. Okay? I mean, Barack Obama, when it comes to the number of votes for Democrats, Joe Biden made Barack Obama look unpopular. But yeah. Anyway, so will they get a vote on the SAVE Act? On Sunday, Trump issued a blunt legislative ultimatum declaring on Truth Social that he would refuse to sign any bill, until Congress, the Senate passes the SAVE Act. It must be done immediately. It supersedes everything else. Must go to the front of the line, Trump said when it comes to the SAVE Act. Now, here's a little flashback for you. In December of 2015, I did an interview. You can go into the Revolution Radio archives and go to the Trump Assassination files and look for a show around the Christmas of 2015. Probably one of the first ones in there, if I remember right. Anyway, Robert David Steele, God bless him. You know, he said the first thing Trump has to do is to pass voter ID. He has to pass voter this and he has to pass voter that. He has to get control of the elections. And, you know, I agree. I did agree, but I don't know if that was the, you know, if Trump was going to be able to do that, because he was literally putting so many bad people in positions of power within his first administration. Okay, in other words, in the first administration, when Donald Trump set up his cabinet and all that, he literally took recommendations from the Republican Party leadership. And if I'm not mistaken, every one of those individuals stabbed Donald Trump in the back multiple times before they were, you know, before they left his administration. But can we get the SAVE Act passed? Okay. Poll after poll shows overwhelming support. The lowest demographic group, Democrats, that say that 76% of Democrats want voter ID. Chuck Schumer calls the SAVE Act Jim Crow 2.0. It would disenfranchise millions of people. According to, you know, Chuck Schumer, that people are too retarded to get a license change or some other, you know, some other ID or some other reason. Literally, you know, Chuck Schumer treats everybody as if they were 80 or 75 IQ and just got off the boat from Somalia. So yeah, I'm not so sure about the SAVE Act, really, because without the editing or auditing, excuse me, not editing, auditing that would go to editing voter rolls across the United States, particularly those in Democrat states. You know, the fact that we should have one day to vote, and that all votes should be in by the end of that day. We shouldn't wait for days and days and days for ballots to come in because they have a correct postmark on them, making it the day of the election. That's absolutely, you know, just ridiculous. That's what I will say. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Let's see. Judicial sabotage. Obama judge blocks Trump efficiency reforms for deportation appeals. The BIA's backlog has ballooned to 37,285 of pending appeals at the end of fiscal year 2015 to fiscal year 2015 to today at the end of fiscal year 2025. of course, which you should know was back in September, I believe. Okay. 202,946 people waiting for appeals on their immigration cases. Now, you and I both know that most of these fucking people are gone, or they should be gone. Their asses should be get out of the country. And the reason that you appeal your case, so you can stay here 6 months, 6 years, or longer, just waiting for your case to be heard again. And that was one of the wholly ignorant things, is that they did not provide quick, how should we say it, quick decisions on illegal immigrants that coming into the country. 6 years till you get your first, I mean, really. I mean, there are so many lawyer tricks and so many ways. I can imagine the stories and all the shit that people make up that they throw into the pile of their immigration hearing. And I can imagine all the dancing and all the coaching by the lawyers too. I can't see how it doesn't happen. Okay. So anyway, a court did say that Trump can suspend refugee admissions, which is a big deal, because that literally, gives Trump the ability to cut off what is actually coming in at the time. Okay. What else we got going on here? Let's see. We got about a half an hour. Woo. Rand Paul warns of a disastrous midterms for the GOP if Iran war continues. I got a newsflash for you. You're going to have a hard time on the midterm anyway, Rand, because Democrats have kicked your ass. Because Republicans stood there and let Democrats screw them in the numbers in the House. Because Republicans don't have the guts to fight dirty. I mean, I would be reminding everybody that Jefferson Davis was a Democrat. That the KKK was comprised of Democrats. Okay? I don't know what the problem is, I mean, I can't believe that they just don't call, a Muslim terrorist a terrorist. But, we can't do that because, oh my God, it might hurt somebody's feelings. It's crazy. Meanwhile, information continues to dribble out about Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein guard Googled him minutes before his body was found. You mean minutes before he reported the body was found, okay? Because when he saw the body, he says, shit, who the fuck is that? It could have literally been that stupid. Anyway, so yeah. The guard then got 12 cash deposits totaling almost $12,000 in his bank account too. So, remember Jeffrey Epstein was said to have been rolled out of the Manhattan Federal Correctional Facility the day before he was found dead. There is no word, there is no work, there is no video of anything of Jeffrey Epstein coming back from whence he came, okay? Understand that fact coupled with at least two body doubles and also a latex rubber body double for Jeffrey Epstein. I just can't help but believe that he's still alive. The always question was, they made the whole conspiracy Remember, they made the whole conspiracy, the whole thing with Q and all the counterintelligence stuff. They made it all the question of whether he killed himself or not. Not even a thought of a question of, is Jeffrey Epstein really dead? You know, it's kind of strange, but there is a weird piece of information that kind of outs this kind of idea where the Jeffrey Epstein's Fortnite account, evidently Jeffrey Epstein was a pretty big gamer. And while he was gaming this thing, Fortnite, he has an account. Well, the time that Jeffrey spent in prison, there was no gameplay. About a year after Jeffrey Epstein died, that account of Jeffrey Epstein's Fortnite account is now active and somebody is literally playing on it. Now, if China or Iran or, somebody can, track and hack back or get into a Fortnite game with Jeffrey Epstein and then, get some video somehow, by hack, right? Or location data. Listen, I mean, I'm sorry. You cannot believe anything that our government has said and anything that our government does. Everything is made as a psychological construct so they can get your permission to do something. Now they're talking about Trump. Trump stuff is pressuring Trump toward an off-ramp in Iran. Well, of course, we've heard all the rhetoric from both sides who essentially said, we aren't going to stop. And the other one said, well, we're not going to stop and whatever. I expect that, okay? At least the Americans aren't lying and they're saying that, yeah, sure, we're going to stop and peace and prosperity and then, bomb them again. Oh, that's Israel. But anyway, craziness, idiocracy. Wow. But Donald Trump got a wake-up call. I know many people aren't going to make much of this, but Donald Trump had a call with Vladimir Putin. Within 5 minutes after Trump got off the phone, he was essentially talking about figuring out how a peace deal with Iran. Of course, Putin has essentially said this is the end of the world. This is the end of any chance of peace. Because the simple fact that the United States has not stopped yet. And, as I wholly expect the U.S. to continue their empire, the worldwide empire building for the Rothschild family. I expect that to continue. I expect Donald Trump to remain Donald Chump and to be brainwashed by meetings, briefings, and memos. After a year of essentially being told certain things, Donald Trump is falling in with that crowd. He did during the how do we call it, the Israeli genocide in the Gaza Strip. So yeah, it's crazy. All right. What else we got going on here? CNN did propaganda for the ISIS-inspired attackers in New York. Literally calling it Gracie, where Mandami lives, they call it Gracie Mansion. Is that his wife's or whatever? I'm not sure. But it sure isn't grace, anything graceful or grace about the satanic leader of New York. That's my opinion, that I believe he is an antichrist. I know that's awful strong language to a lot of people, but I just, I don't know. Can you read that black soul of his? Because I can't. I really can't. What else we got going on here? Let's see. Get back over here. Maybe we get some real news from about Trump and stuff, right? Yeah. Bump, ba-dum, bump. Yeah, now calls to stop the Iranian war. Not because of casualties, not because of oil prices, not because of anything, but because of global warming. Okay, I mean, really. Stop the war because of global warming. Okay, absolutely ridiculous. Okay. War makes climate change worse in many ways and vice versa. You have to hand it to people hanging on clingers, hanging on to their cult style ideas in an age of modern times when we know and understand that CO2 is not a, how should we say, a greenhouse gas, but oxygen for plants. These people would have you literally get rid of all of the CO2 to feed all the plants on Earth. They're mad. They're crazy. Okay. They believe that all the glacier, we should roll back all the glaciers and everything else. It's crazy. Okay. All we know for sure about war is the first casualty of war is the truth. It doesn't matter what war it is. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter who is warring amongst each other. The first casualty will always be the truth. Okay. Now there was a rumor. I don't know if it was true, but there was a rumor that a Middle Eastern country that was a U.S. ally was overthrown. Was it Bahrain, maybe? Or Qatar? I'm not sure which, okay? But a lot of these countries that are heavy with Shia populations are fighting for Iran. The U.S. has literally pulled all of its troops back out of the Middle East. Exactly why, I'm not 100% sure. Now it is in the rumor mill, okay. It is in the rumor mill that Trump made the decision to attack Iran, weeks ago. Okay. Now, one of the things that is allegedly coming out is that during those negotiations with the United States of America, see, and this is what America does, right? They pull you into negotiations and they say, show me what you got. You show them what they got, and then they come and bomb it. Iran claimed to have 61 kilograms of nuclear material that had been refined to 60%. Now that, theoretically, that is enough to make 11 nuclear weapons. Now, the Iranians, trying to be bold, trying to hold off the Americans, that's what they did. They tried to brag, they tried to bolster their own argument by telling the Americans what they had. And the Americans are desperately, trying to find exactly where that material is and bomb it. That's why I said earlier, when the Americans and Israelis, when they have the location of Israel's nuclear material for a positive, right? For a positive, they will release a miniaturized nuclear weapon. That is my belief, okay? And they will claim and they will blame it all on, well, the Iranian nuclear material. That, oh my God, it must have been a chain reaction from them or something. This stuff is not going to surprise me, I guess, when it happens, okay? Let's see what else we got going down here. Americans they're losing their ass, okay? They're plundering their 401k savings in record numbers in America. People can't make all the ends meet. They can't get all of their goodies and all of this other stuff. And, well, I mean, I believe there's serious food inflation coming, okay? I mean, serious food inflation. What I would suspect is 10 times the cost. 10 times the cost of beef and other high protein meats. Okay? And the reason I say that is that feeder bull cattle, small calves, were selling at $200 a piece just a few months ago. Today they're selling for $2,000 a piece. So understand that that unless you're going to be growing your own beef, unless you're going to be harvesting your own meat, I believe that we're looking at massive inflation. And they want to do this. Why? Because they want to kill the dollar. The dollar is about dead. The dollar is about defunct because of all of the equity that has been taken out of the dollar, even in relation to all of the currencies in the world that have been essentially devalued all in parallel. They stole the actual wealth. The bankers, all the central bankers that manipulate your money down and down and down in a circular form. It's a sad state of affairs. Anyway, yeah. So, crazy stuff, man. Anyway, what else we find here? Donald Trump went on a bender, I guess, about the Epstein files. And, how some of these new files are alleging that Donald Trump. And what's amazing, what I had to say is really amazing, is that, you know what it is? It's that no other person has been allegedly caught doinking, boinking, rubbing, grinding, whatever on a minor. You see a few still pictures, but nobody naked with body parts inserted in the wherever, or cigars, or who knows what, okay? But the truth is, Donald Trump's name literally in the files that were released. Now, I have yet to hear any more information, any more word about the cyber attack on the New York FBI office that is alleged to have stolen between 150 up to 350 is it gigabytes or terabytes of information? I thought it was terabytes, but I'm not sure. Literally massive amounts of information, terabytes, I'm pretty sure. stolen from the New York FBI office before they had a computer security guy there. Under Maureen Comey. I literally don't hear anybody, talk about anything like that. Because if they came in and stole material, they can come in and dump stuff at the same time. So always, remember that, okay? Now, I don't know if it was just last week or was it the week before when we had Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton literally lying through their teeth in the hot seat up in New York, okay? It's amazing how they both lied like pros. And there has been no referrals. There hasn't been anything coming out of government yet. Yeah, you really have to hand it to the government. They know how to cover up for themselves and their sexual exploits. Okay. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yeah. Emmanuel Macron over in France now supporting Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu's action in Iran. Bashed Iran for hitting out against all the countries that were not just attacking them, but shooting down the missiles that Israel was shooting back. So Israel, or I should say the Iranians started shooting, everybody. Now, one of the things that you haven't heard, and I haven't heard, I did see one video clip of this high density, kind of scanning radar for, looking for intercontinental ballistic missiles and other missile launches. It was in Jordan. Okay. Now it's alleged, I said, that the Iranians have hit the thing 8 times with drones. I don't know if that's true. I kind of I don't know what kind of anti-air systems that they have, there. So, but it's a big static target. And, I mean, you can just keep throwing stuff at it till you hit it. Really. I think that's how it works. Now, of course, if you're not aware, there has been these rumors for years about this guy named Barry Sorrento. Yeah, Barry Sorrento. So, Barry Sorrento, imagine that, huh?
Unbelievable happened for us in the FBI. We were getting lots of rumors about this high-level asset that worked for several intelligence agencies at the same time. He worked for the Saudi Intelligence Service. He worked for the CIA, and he was being developed as a political asset in Chicago, Illinois. He was not even a United States citizen, but it was said that he was a student visa and that he was a national from another country. In 2008, everyone in the intelligence structure found out who he was. It was this individual whose name I don't like to say, who became president in 2008 of the United States.
And I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States. The office of President of the United States.
One of his code names was Renegade. His real name was Barry Sorrento, but he adopted a different name for his political career. When they ran him for president, the cabal, basically, this was the culmination of so many of their plans for so many years. His mission was to destroy the United States from within, one institution at a time. One of the things he did, of course, was he defunded our military. He brought down the resources that they got. But then he ordered our military in many, many instances and in various theaters to attack our allies and to defend and supply and help our enemies. That's exactly how he created ISIS. He would say publicly that the military were going to bomb our enemies, but then he would have the military actually bomb enemies of ISIS.
Enemies of
Our
ISIS.
allies.
That's nothing. You know, listen. If you know, you know. Okay, and if you don't know, and if you've just decided that you're never going to look at the inside of the onion, if you've decided that you're not going to unravel all of the string they have put around, you know, their crimes to create, you know, to hide them. If you're not willing to peel back the layers and expose this stuff, then you will lose the game, because they have this process of literally stringing a web, wrapping people up continually, and they are literally tied up in some type of a psychological construct that the deep state has created. It is crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. The U.S. consulate in Toronto, Canada, has been attacked, shots fired as the Iran war fuels terror fears. Of course, you know, this is in the heart of London. Okay. What else we got going on here? Bump, ba-dum, bump. Let's see. There was a big surge in oil, and then it dropped. Okay. And then, of course, gold and silver has been volatile. Donald Trump had first said he guaranteed safe passage through the Straits of Hormuz. He said that we would provide them with escorts. They said that we would provide them with insurance. And then Donald Trump turned around and said, their courage can protect them as they go through the Straits of Hormuz. It's absolutely, you know, hilarious. Okay. Now, it has been rumored that the U.S. Navy said no, that one ship asked to be escorted through the Straits of Hormuz, and the American Navy said no. Probably because that Navy ship would be a higher priority target than the tanker. And so you're just pushing bait through the Straits of Hormuz, okay? Oil prices are expected to average $60 to $64 a barrel. However, right now oil price is where in the hell is it? God, I can't read these all of these charts. West Texas crude is at 83, Brent is at 87, Murban crude is 99, and natural gas at $3.0, whatever a cubic foot, or is that a cubic meter? I'm not sure. But anyway, so that's the prices were up near $100, and they dropped down. The question is, will Donald Trump be able to continue the rhetoric? Will he be able to continue the bullshit that he is slinging about the war in Iran? Donald Trump believed that they would have cried uncle by now. And they didn't say no, no more, no mas. They pretty much raised the middle finger and told Donald Trump, fuck you. 150 troops, according to American media, have been wounded so far. I think it has been confirmed that 6 are dead, I believe. However, in Europe, okay, in Europe, they are saying that there's over 1,000 U.S. casualties, okay. The truth is, we won't know for another month or two about casualties and some of the stuff that's going to happen. If they have a major attack against one of our bases, or take out a ship or a tank, or actually hit the Abraham Lincoln or the George Washington or whatever, that will be massive news. It's, listen, they've been putting out all these idiot propaganda pictures of bombs on aircraft carriers, and everybody has just made a joke, a meme out of every bit of it. Okay, so yeah. What else we got going on here? 89 arrested in Florida in a human trafficking operation. The suspects arrested allegedly believe they were communicating with underage victims that they were going to take and traffic, and they would. What did the one guy say? They would put their ass to work tonight. And as far as I'm concerned, and a person who does that to a child in particular, an underage girl. Man, I guess I'm like Muslims. I would take them to the top of a building and throw them off, see if they learn to fly. Okay, but that's how I have strong feelings about people that hurt children, and I am not going to stop it. Saying that they need to face the severest penalties that we have. Okay. So anyway, welcome to the end of the show. Coming up next is on Revolution.radio, Michael J. Anderson and the Road to Damascus. So if you get a time, if you get a chance, if you feel like popping down, come on over to Revolution Radio Studio B. Remember, Revolution Radio is all volunteer, listener supported. So remember that you do change the world. While the biggest media company in the world right now is YouTube. Yeah, still is. Anyway, so take care, Rev Radio. We'll be right back with Michael J. Anderson next. So anyway, guys, it's man, it's been a pretty long day, and it's been hot here, man. We went right into summer. I think it was 82 today. Yeah. It was hot outside, man. I am telling you. I was going to try to polish up that camper, and well, just my eyes are bad. I got too big of a grinder. If that's possible. I got the big one instead of just the little one. Anyway, yeah. So get ready, because the next till the end of the year is going to be hopping, and we don't know what is going to go down, because, well, I don't even think Donald Trump knows what him and his administration are going to do next. We do know that it will not be bringing justice to those victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his Mossad blackmail files, and his using young children and young girls to essentially entrap and blackmail business leaders around the world, giving horny billionaires all the young children that they could molest. Wow, almost sounds like a P. Diddy Hollyweird thing, doesn't it? But anyway, Hillary Clinton in her deposition, she was mad because somebody asked her about Frazzle Dip. If that thing is even half true, Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin, they should be executed for torturing children to death. That's just something that, crazy world that we live in. So we'll see you on Thursday, right? Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. Remember, like I said, you guys do change the world. And thank you for all you do. Because if you didn't do it, we'd already be down the damn toilet. So take care, everybody. And remember that you're the people. We the people. Not, them, the political parasites that have sold out. Yeah. We'll see you later. God bless. Good day. And good luck.